Well, hey everybody, this is DHaus from the Wild Wormhole here with another sloppy Labwork, where we take a deck and we sort of break it down and look at kind of what's going on in the deck and potentially identify some combos or some pieces that you may use in your own decks, because you're never going to play my deck, but maybe we can discover something together. So it's sloppy, it ain't perfect, but this is what we're doing to provide a little bit more content than just our regular episode. So let us know what you feel about this format, and we've all kind of done it differently, but I'm going to jump right in. I recently won a sealed event with this deck right here, so I figured this would be a good one to cover. Old Carteer the Tight-pursed, which I love the name. Immediately when I saw Tight-pursed, I thought there's probably going to be a lot of stealing in this deck, and that would be accurate. But yeah, ended up going 3-0 in an 8-person sealed event, and so thought we would cover it. We've got Dis, Mars, and Shadows. Now, I love Dis and Shadows a ton, and I don't dislike Mars. I'm sort of like indifferent. They're kind of middle of the pack for me. Like if I had to rank my houses, it'd probably be Dis, Shadows, Untamed in my top 3, and then Mars right at number 4, and the rest of them in like my bottom 3. But I like it. It's very interesting. So we're gonna go through each of these cards. If you're watching on YouTube, you actually be able to read the text. If you're listening on a podcast, hopefully I covered it all pretty in depth. But we're gonna start with our Dis house. First up, we have Arise, and we're very excited about this because Arise is so stinking powerful. It says play, choose a house, return each creature of that house from your discard pile to your hand, gain 1 chain. That 1 chain is completely worth it. I would probably take 5 chains to play this card, honestly. One, if you're able to pull this or play this on a turn where you're already on Dis and you have a bunch of Dis creatures in your discard pile, you just flood the board. If not that, you can always pull. When I look at this and I look at Mars in the same deck, I think there's a lot of cards that where Mars wants a lot of Mars cards in your hand, like Battlefleet, where it's reveal any number of Mars cards from your hand. For each card revealed this way, draw 1 card. So I think I could set up some combos that way. And then with Shadows, it's just, classic guys like the Urchin, when you can play an Urchin and just by playing them, you steal 1. But mostly I'm looking for Dis or Mars specifically in this build. So Arise is very good. There was one guy who played a Mimicry against me to Arise. He was waiting for me to drop that Arise, and it was a lot of fun. So this is very strong, very good, big fan. Then we got 2 copies of Control the Weak. You get an Amber just for playing this, and it says play, choose a house on your opponent's identity card. Your opponent must choose that house as their active house on their next turn. So this card can honestly straight up win you games. And I think in a little bit it did. Twice at the tournament, I called a house. I kind of looked at their discard pile and looked at what they had on the board and sort of tried to identify a house that they might not have. And twice my opponent I played this, the opponent got to their turn and just passed their entire turn because they had nothing to play. Which feels so good. So I love this card. It's really good. It combos really well, especially with the Ember Imp, which I have 2 of. It says it's a 2-power creature. It says your opponent cannot play more than 2 cards each turn. So a lot of times, even if they do have a lot of cards, they're still stuck into playing 2, which is just really helpful. So love the control of that card. We got Fear. Which says return an enemy creature to its owner's hand, which it's not great, but it's not bad. You set them back a turn, and sometimes you've got like guys like Bulwark, where you fear and get rid of the Bulwark just to be able to attack the guys next to the Bulwark, or get rid of the Shadow Self or whatever, just to be able to clear out somebody that you need to. So it's a tempo card. It's not amazing, but I'm never sad to have it. So that's really good. And then you have the ultimate removal card, Gateway to Dis. Play, destroy each creature, gain 3 chains. So just your classic, I'm screwed, let me get rid of everything and start over, reset. And this definitely got me out of a few difficult places. with this. I love being able to. There was one turn where I had 2 disc guys out. I reaped with both of them. Then I played Gateway to Disc, got rid of 5 of their creatures. He had 2 big twigs. 2. He had 3 in the deck, which was insane. He had 2 of them out, so I was like, oh crap. I Gateway to Disc, kill both of them and 3 other creatures. Then I play Arise, get all of those creatures back, play all my disc creatures, and all of a sudden he was 5 creatures up to my 2, and now I'm up like 6-0. So some pretty cool stuff you can do with that. Lash of Broken Dreams, one of my favorite cards. Artifact. It says action keys cost +3 during your opponent's next turn, which is just gross. There was one person I played that hadn't seen this yet, and they said it does what? And it's like, yeah, it's pretty good. You do have to call this, and you have to tap it. But the control in this deck is pretty sick. So I'm gonna come back to this in just a moment when we get to the other houses. Drumble, 2 power creature. Elusive and has a play effect. If your opponent has 7 or more amber, capture all of it. So you can imagine if you're calling this and you're making them save up for 9, and then you pull a Drumble, that person is a sad panda. So this guy is great, and Elusive's always solid. Yeah, it's good. There were a lot of times where I just didn't have they didn't have 7, but I decided to drop them, which was fine. Like I said, 2 Ember Imps, which again, having 2 is so good. There was one game where they killed one, thought they could play more creatures. Said, there's actually a second one. And it's just really good. And then Snudge. Finally got a deck with Snudge. This guy is so annoying, and your opponent will want to kill him so fast. He's a 4 power creature. He has a fight/reap effect. Yes, both of them. It says return an artifact or flank creature to its owner's hand. So it's like a fear on a stick, basically. And it's such a tempo card because every time they drop something, it's exhausted and they're setting up for their next turn. And all of a sudden you're like, I'm just going to reap and put that guy back in your hand. And it's just so annoying to play against. I did get him first round. I was first player with 7 cards, dropped him first round, and just they tried to put stuff down, and I just reap, get rid of it, reap, get rid of it. And super solid. Love this dude. Succubus, good control. 3 power during their draw card step. Your opponent fills their hand to 1 less card. And the Terror, which is my favorite card to get round 1 if you're first player. If your opponent has no amber, gain 2. 5 power. Really good. Little guy that, if he could give you some great effect, or he's a good little fighter. So overall, I love this disc package. Honestly, the only thing that in my mind that I really would want is the Dominator Bauble, but I didn't really need it. So that's the disc package. Let's get into the Mars package. First up, we got Ammonia Clouds. Play, deal 3 damage to each creature. So as if Gateway to Disc wasn't bad enough, Ammonia Clouds, here you go. Take 3 to everybody. Cool. Battlefleet, I talked about this earlier, but man, I love this card. A lot of times I find myself, if I draw it early, I try to keep it in my hand and just keep building up those Mars cards so eventually I can reveal and do some cool things with it. I'm trying to remember if there is archiving in here somewhere. I might be thinking of a different deck, but no. Anyways, again, just a great card. You get 1 amber just for playing it, and then you get a lot of draw effects. That can be extremely powerful, especially when you combine it with Arise and get all these Mars guys back because you got a lot of them, and do some work. So, love it. Love Battlefleet. Then you got Orbital Bombardment. Also love this card. It gives you an amber for playing it. It says reveal any number of Mars cards from your hand, and for each card revealed this way, deal 2 to a creature. You may choose a different creature each time. So, there was one time I battle-fleeted with 4 Mars cards, drew a bunch more, ended up with 6 total Mars cards, then dropped Orbital Bombardment, and was able to do 12 damage. So, in this deck, you got Ammonia Clouds doing a lot of damage, Orbital Bombardment. Eventually, we'll get to Relentless Whispers, which deals 2 to a creature. You just got a lot of stuff, and so this was really helpful to get rid of a lot of things. He had there's one game he had a mother who was at 10 power because that Brobnar card that gave +5 power was pretty crazy. But Solid. I like it. Psychic Network. This card is insane, and I had never played it, and I am a forever fan. It has an action, steal one for each friendly ready Mars creature. Just straight up, just steal one. Just no bet. Just for each friendly ready Mars creature, steal one. Okay. Yeah, and when you consider you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Mars creatures, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Again, if you can build your hand, even again think Arise, get all your Mars guys out, then play Psychic Network if you can keep them on the board. It's really great. There was a game when my opponent was playing Speed Sigil, which is an artifact in Shadows where the first creature played each round comes in ready, and it actually allowed me to Psychic Network, which was really nice, really great. But a lot of times I was just straight up stealing 3, which steal 3 is huge. It's a 6 amber swing. So I love this card, and I will forever be looking for Mars decks with this card from now on. You got Sniffer. So this is a weird rare artifact. It says action for the remainder of the turn, each creature loses elusive. So, sure. This came in super handy against Shadows. I played round 1. I played against Shadows deck. So all those Urchins, those Umbras, those, what else? These Naughty the Thieves. It's super nice. Just say, you lose elusive. Of all those guys are just like 1 and 2 power guys that are just dead now. So, it was okay. I mean, it didn't come in handy super often, but it gives you an amber just for playing it, so it's not totally dead. Then, oh baby, 2 Grabber Jammers, guys. 2! This might be my favorite Mars creature, maybe. It's just a simple 4 power guy with 1 armor, creature, robot. Your opponent's keys cost +1. And then a fight/reap effect, capture 1. Okay. I love effects that make your opponent's keys cost +1 just by being on the field. Now, do you remember there was a card in the DHaus that I showed you guys? Lash of Broken Dreams. When you call this, you can make their keys cost +3. Well, when you got Grabber Jammer out there, all of a sudden they cost 10. And if you got both, they cost 11. There was one dream turn where I had Grabber Jammer out and I tapped Lash of Broken Dreams, so his keys cost 10. That is a huge swing, guys. That's just a ton of fun. I love Grabber Jammer. One of my favorites, for sure. Love this guy. Then we've got 3 Yixley Marauders, which I love the art. But this guy's weird. So he's 2 power, and it says the Marauder gets +1 power for each amber on it. And then has a play effect, capture 1 for each friendly ready Mars creature. So again, we have that ready keyword there, similar to Psychic Network. You steal 1 for each friendly ready. So I remember there was one turn where I was able to play the Marauder in ready because of Speed Sigil, and I was able to capture 3, and then I played Psychic Network and stole 3, so I took all 6 of his amber from the previous turn. So this guy's okay. Capture is always good. And especially when you have cards like Shadow Self, in the Shadows house, where he can just sort of protect him for a while. Excuse me. But 3 of them's crazy. Having 2 strength to start. There's a lot of turns where it's like he's only going to be a 2, and that's all he's going to be. Not great, but having extra Mars creatures in this particular deck is really good. Then we got 1 copy of the Yixlo Bolter. He's a Martian soldier. Fight and reap. Deal 2 to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, purge it. I love this guy. He's so good. Keep in mind, when you do fight effects, you got to survive in order to do the fight effect. But so great in getting rid of like Drumbles on the opposing side, or Shaffles. The little disc creature has 2 strength that makes you lose 1, or makes your opponent lose 1 after every turn. So I love this guy just saying, you know what, I'm just going to reap, get an amber, kill that guy. In fact, I'm not just going to kill him. I'm going to purge him, send him straight to dis. He out of here. Gone. Really, I, again, love this guy. He's a close second next to Grabber Jammer. And then, of course, the Jammer Pack. Upgrade gives you an amber for playing it. This creature gains your opponent's keys cost +2. Hold up, people. So we have +2 here. We've got 2 Grabber Jammers for +1 each. And you got the Lash of Broken Dreams. So theoretically, you could do the dream play of going up to 9, 10, 11, 13. You can make your opponent's keys cost 13 if you play it right, people. Sick. This is really great. And what makes it even better is the stuff we have in Shadows. So first up in Shadows, we got a Shadows card that gives you an amber called Hidden Stash. Play. Archive a card. Cool. So yeah, this is the one I was referring to. So a lot of times I played this and put Battlefleet in my archive so that when I built up my hand with lots of Mars stuff, then I could come back to it. Other times I'd use this to put Gateway to Dis in my archive so that if the board got out of control, I could be, it's sort of my Hail Mary, oh crap, let me do something real quick. So in Shadows, this card just feels so good. Then, if you remember last episode, I talked about this card a lot. Not 1, but 2 copies of Miasma, which gives you an amber just for playing it, and says your opponent skips the Forge a Key step on their next turn. So guys, you can make your opponent's keys cost 13, and then they finally get 13, and then you drop Miasma, and you just don't let them forge at all. Talk about control. Holy cow, this is just insane and so annoying, and I apologize to everyone I played on Saturday. Just so good, guys. Miasma, I talked about this in the last episode. I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse, but this is one of the best cards in the game. I'm just saying it right now. It gives you an amber just for that. And then makes them skip the Forge a Key step on their next turn. So many of these games are decided by 1 turn. So this card is incredible. I highly recommend playing Shadows decks with this. You can just, do just enough to stall them out so that you can win the game. It's really solid. Poison Wave. Action. Deal 2 to each creature. So there you go. You got Poison Wave. You got Ammonia Clouds. Lots of just damage out of hand in addition to the Gateway to Dis that just gets rid of all of them. So pretty solid. Unfortunately, your little Mars guys are a little susceptible to this Poison Wave along with your Ember Imps and Drumble. So you got it's hard, but sometimes you just got to pull that trigger. Especially combined with Relentless Whispers, which gives you an amber. There's 2 copies of this, by the way. Deal 2 to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, steal 1. Will do. So I'll make them save up to 13 to forge their key, and then I'll steal 1 so that they only have 12, so they can't forge anymore. It's great. Okay, time out. I know I'm being ridiculous. You're not always going to be able to make them pay 13 or get them to that dream of 13, but you might get them to 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that range, and it can do work. Then we got another artifact, Long Fused Minds. Give you an amber for playing it. It's a weapon. Omni. Love Omni effects. Sacrifice Long Fused Minds. Deal 3 to each enemy creature not on a flank. So again, more damage right out of hand between Ammonia Clouds, Poison Wave, Relentless Whispers. Weird stuff, but I love it. Subtle Maul artifact has an action. Your opponent discards a random card from their hand. Great card. Really simple. You might undervalue this, but this could actually save you the game if you pull the right cards. So this is really good. Then on the creature side, we got Naughty the Thief. 2 power, elusive, action, steal 1. Love it. Very solid. We got Dodger, 5 strength, fight, steal 1. Also good. Shadow Self. Love Shadow Self. He's just there to keep your guys alive. He's got 9 power. Shadow Self deals no damage when fighting. Damage dealt to non-Spectre neighbors is dealt to Shadow Self instead. So there you go. And then finally, an Urchin. 1 power, elusive, play, steal 1. So there you go. Lots of steal effects. So there you have it, guys. That is Carteer the Tight-pursed. This might be my new favorite deck, honestly. It's got so many tricks and so many ways to stall your opponent from forging keys, while also generating a ton of amber itself. So I've had decks that are good at generating amber, and I've had decks that are good at slowing your opponent down, but I've never had a deck that's good at doing both. So with effects like Control the Weak, where you slow them down a little bit, Miasma, you slow them down. You got your board clears, your ammonia clouds, your damage on hand, your gateway to dis, and even just guys like Snudge, just making them put guys back in their hands. Pretty solid. So I think I talked through a few of the combos. If you get any combination, I personally love making keys cost more than they should. I think that's a really powerful strategy in this game. So hope you guys get lots of Lash of Broken Dreams and Grabber Jammers and Jammer Packs and all of the fun things. So I think that'll do it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out The Wild Wormhole on YouTube or iTunes if you're watching on one or the other, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And we'll see you on the next one. See you guys.